Alright, what's up guys, my name is Richard Flame and welcome everyone to episode 8 of Beatless here today. With this episode, it was, I would say, not too, slow and not too fast. It's kind of that medium pace, which is pretty cool. We do get somewhat a lot of information. We do get Type 3, we get a little bit of snippets of her, kind of back and forth now. And next week's preview, it's going to be kind of focusing on her episode, just kind of like with last episode, we learned with Type 4 Methode or Girl Flash, whatever you want to describe her as. And we, at the start of this episode, we get to see what her name actually is, and her name is Saturns. She kind of destroys all these HIE'S that this kind of girl has. She's rich, and she owns, this modeling company, and she just asks her to become her owner, and she's like, no, you have to, kind of be cute, and kind of prove to yourself that you're willing to be my owner, and etc. And we do get, kind of background information of her. Her name is Erika Burrows, and she owns the company of, this modeling company that, Lacia and Arto kind of went, or Lacia did that fashion show in episode 2 or 3. I think it was episode 2, I do believe. And they brought Arto and Lacia back in here yet again because they want to do this TV show kind of thing. It's called Boy Meets Girl. The same where Lacia has been with, Arto, or has been living with Arto for quite a while now. And they're kind of, looking at the audience that, if suddenly, a boy is kind of lonely at home and doesn't have a family or etc. like that, he'll get a girl HIE. And it's like the same thing kind of opposite. If, a girl's lonely, they'll make male HIEs and etc. So they kind of, bring into this world of, kind of living with an HIE, with the opposite sex. I don't know if they're kind of talking about love or etc. But that's kind of the portraying or their kind of motive of this kind of TV show kind of thing right here. And Arto, kind of knowing him, is always a back and forth kind of guy. He doesn't know if this is great or not. And knowing Lacia, she's just an HIE. She doesn't matter what Arto thinks. She knows that he will make the right move. And with this episode here as well, like I said, just kind of going more into Beatless as we see, Arto and Lacia's relationship, kind of fold. And it was actually the biggest one here in this episode here today. And what caught me with this episode is, since Lacia said in episode 1 that, HIEs and that can't have feelings or don't express emotion or whatever. And with this episode, it was the complete different aspect of it. And it really caught my eye of, Arto just saying something to her and she blushes. And I'm like, HIEs don't do that. I feel like that's something that is really big in this episode that she did. And it's kind of a funny moment of them kind of almost kissing, and then his sister comes in, and it's kind of that awkward moment, but I thought it was pretty funny. This episode as well, I don't know what they're doing at the studio. It's kind of a weird title. I don't want to say, if you guys watch this episode, you know what I'm talking about, but I have no idea why they come up with these titles like this. I don't even want to say it on kind of the video right here. It's just kind of awkward, but yeah, it's weird title for an episode here today. With it as well, we get Methode's character here again, or Girl Flash, as you know. She kind of provokes Rio's sister, as Rio's sister does become the owner now of Methode. Kind of one of her abilities, not running really fast, is having different types of owners. And we learned in this episode as well from her that out of the top 5 Lacia classes, she was actually just the first, or the only one that's actually completed. And that's kind of a sign of, I'm pretty sure that's why she got multiple owners, because she was actually one of the types that actually finished the studio. And I guess that kind of makes sense of why she blew up that building, or Mr. Watariki, I think his name was. It's really hard to remember these characters that we just known from the previous episode, but I'm pretty sure that's kind of why she blew up this building right here, is because the other HIEs aren't kind of programmed yet or haven't been completed, and she's the only one, and she has a lot of power. And this episode as well, we do get a little bit of a fight of her and Lacia again, and we do see that emotional state of Lacia. You kind of see it in her eyes when after she's done fighting with Methode, that Arto even looks at it as well. And Rio, I want to learn about his character a lot more. We do get more background information from Rio in this episode, kind of why he's there, and we do see it a lot in the preview of him, talking to Arto a lot. So I definitely want to see more of kind of what's going on, because I feel like he's a behind the scenes kind of guy. He kind of knows what's going on right now between him and Arto, and all these HIE kind of programs right now. And with Rio's character, I just kind of feel like he's hiding something. He's hiding something that he didn't want Arto to be with Lacia. Lacia whatsoever. You know, he wanted him to stay away from her, but in this episode, you know, he was just asking Naruto for Lacia, you know, to get out of here or to defeat Methode. So that's kind of a little bit of a background change of, hey, Naruto, don't be with this HIE, and now he wants him to be with her. So I definitely think, like, I just want to understand this character a lot more. Like, this is like kind of stuff in anime that, you know, even though they're not that much of a main character, it could still impact the thing of Beatless. Last thing of this episode, after the credits are all done, we get this kind of short clip of Methode being with Mr. Wataruki, you know, the kind of one of the guys that created the types. He was talking about that humanity now is kind of at the brink, that HIEs are kind of taking over, and Methode says at the very end that, you know, humanity is desperate and that HIEs might take over. So that's definitely a dark side of Beatless that we're going to be getting here very, very soon, which was really interesting. I feel like that's kind of like the, I guess, the popular part of this episode, or I guess the most intense was that saying right there, or like the small minute of that we watched. So yeah, I guess we're going to more of the story of Beatless right there. This episode, it's just one of those that you can go back to the past, you know. It's not one of those that you could watch, you know, all the time and it's like, oh my gosh, this is so great. It's one of those where, you know, it's like, oh, okay, you know, this episode's right here, I can click on it, you know, watch it for like 20 minutes. It's just, I don't know, like, I feel like just what I said about the recap episode, especially on 6, you know, if this episode, you know, wants to pop up and want to become big, you know, you just gotta have like episodes that are just fantastic. And with it right now, I just feel like it's just at a very slow start. You know, it was like, okay, it's up here, recap episode, bring it down. Some episodes are good, but it's still bringing it down. And, you know, I'm still a little bit worried about how, you know, the route's going right now. But I feel like just a thing at the end, you know, that little snippet, that 1 minute part at the very end that we got this episode, I feel like, you know, it's definitely a big story that's going to be coming, you know, to this anime. And if they do it right, I'm hoping they can make it good, and hopefully that this anime can turn around. Thank you guys all for watching here today. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. And we'll see you guys next week for another Beatless review. Much love, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.